Well, the reason I smoke is not because I'm addicted, because I have an iron mind and I can blink and cure my brain and stop smoking completely. In fact, when certain places I go to in the world, I don't smoke for months at a time. I'm not addicted to anything. The reason I smoke is because nicotine is good for your testosterone level.
Okay.
That's the reason I smoke. I smoke because I like the drug of nicotine, because nicotine is actually positive. The reason I drink coffee is not because I'm addicted, because caffeine is a miracle drug.
Yeah.
Caffeine
it's good for your heart.
Caffeine's a miracle.
Yeah.
I drink endless coffee, and of course the Matrix will come along and say too much coffee is bad for you, too much meat's bad for you. They say anything to make you weak and stupid. Yeah. Caffeine, people don't understand that coffee changed the world. Before coffee and caffeine, we were we were living our lives in rhythm with the sun. We got up when the sun came up, we went down when the sun came down.
We couldn't go against it.
We didn't go against it very much. With the Industrial Revolution and caffeine, the introduction of caffeine, we now had night shifts, we now had double shifts. Think about this. If a job introduces a coffee break, if a company says, stop working and drink this coffee, that's because the coffee you have is worth the time they let you not work, because you make up for it plus some. That's how powerful it is. And what's actually interesting about me is when I think back, my entire reality is caffeinated. I haven't been awake without caffeine in years.
Yeah.
I drink coffee every single day. So I thought about this and I thought, maybe life's better without caffeine. So I took a week off of coffee.
Yeah.
And there was zero advantage. I didn't sleep any better. Yeah. I felt pissed off. I didn't feel like I could focus as well. I was more tired, but I couldn't sleep any better. It was weird. I was just like, this isn't me. Now, obviously, I'm still a hyper-competitive individual. I still went to the gym. I still did my work. I'm still the top G. But I didn't feel as good.
No benefits.
There was no benefits.
Yeah.
So after a week, I had a cup of coffee, and it was like, the miracle is back. It's develop a coffee addiction. It's fantastic. There's nothing bad about caffeine. I have 10 to 15 coffees a day every single day, and I will do to the day I die. And just to finish off for my vices, coffee is not a vice. I want the caffeine. Smoking's not a vice. I want the nicotine. These are drugs that I believe are genuinely good for me. The only vice, I guess, is alcohol. And although it looks like in some of my videos I drink a lot, that I can drink a lot, I must have the genetic disposition. I can outdrink almost anybody on the planet. I don't truly drink very often.
You don't get drunk.
And I know I'm a professional, so for me to get drunk, it has to be a controlled, closed environment, or I have to have a security team. I will not get drunk
in open.
Never. It's either in my house with armed guards outside, or it's on a yacht. It's on a yacht, which is in the middle of the ocean. Or it's very difficult for me to get drunk because I don't like to lose control of reality like that. And 9 times, in fact, not 9, 9.999 times out of 10, if I'm drinking, I either have a weapon on me or somebody next to me does.
That's crazy. Yeah, but I think you're talking about coffee, but I'd say the one bad thing was like the problem is the more you have, the less effect it gives you. So then the more you need to have.
Well, that's what you think.
Right.
You think it gives you less of effect, but when you quit it,
but your body builds a tolerance.
No, it doesn't.
To it.
Nah. I stick to the base. I have 10 to 15 coffees every day. That's what I have every day. It's the same number. And I don't think I've built a tolerance to it, because when I stopped drinking it, I felt the difference. So I know that it's doing something. Yeah. It does something. I quit. It was only 2 weeks ago I did this 1 week no coffee thing. It was garbage. And I did it because I thought, you see these idiots online. They're like, take cold showers, don't drink coffee, read books. I knew they're full of shit because none of them have anything. They're all brokies. Yeah. And if I were to ever meet any of these people in person, these self-help gurus, I could grab them by their necks and I could wring them to death. I know that they're not men, right? I could destroy all of them. So I'm not interested in really talking to any of them, but I thought about the coffee thing and I thought, well, my entire reality is caffeinated. Let me try life without it. And it was terrible.
Yeah.
Coffee is a gift from God. Caffeine is beautiful, as is nicotine. Ingest as much as possible. And for any doctor who says that it's unhealthy, meet me in the cage and we'll talk about health. Because if I can still beat the shit out of you, then I don't want to hear your opinions on health. Because I think I'll do just fine against any doctor who says coffee is a bad idea.
So, you talk a lot about gym. There's a lot of, maybe you'd say like top G's or like big people who have made it in life, career-wise, money-wise, who have never been to the gym. You look at like, for example, someone like Elon Musk, like quite chubby, or like, for example, not like he was a good person, but like Pablo Escobar made a lot of money, big fat guy. A lot of the people who've made a lot of money. I love gym. I believe it's like really good. I go almost every day. But for like 2 years. But like, what about these other people who made it without?
Yeah, firstly, I have nothing bad to say about Elon because Elon's top E, right? I got to show respect where it's due.
Top G, Elon.
Yeah, he's top E. But I think that a strong body is a strong mind.
Yeah.
I think that going to the gym is important for your mental health. It is for me anyway. I train absolutely every single day. I am not on any kind of steroid. I'm not on TRT. I'm not on testosterone replacement therapy. Yeah. I'm not on any kind of pill. I don't even take creatine. I don't take protein powder. Nothing. And a lot of people don't believe that about me. A lot of people say, oh, because there's pictures of me where I'm a big guy.
Yeah.
I look a bit skinny in a shirt, but they look at me without a shirt on. They're like, wow, you're big. What are you taking, bro?
Yeah.
What are you taking? I'm like,
what's your cycle?
Coffee, cigars, a lot of meat, and hard training. And I'm 35 and I've never had a single injection in my body ever. God is my witness. And I say this on podcasts because there's some people who believe I'm not natural for some reason. And it's kind of a compliment, but they believe I'm not natural. And I say this now openly, so if I ever get busted doing these things, you can sit and call me up on it.
True.
I mean, Logan Paul is a steroid head. He's a big, I've told him before I'll fight him if he can piss in a cup, but he can't because he's massively addicted to steroids. Me and him were back and forth. There's a long story with him, and he was kind of cool. And then when the Matrix attacked me, he cucked out and became a complete. But like he's talking about a boxing match, yeah, you have to pass a drugs test, because if I start taking drugs like you are, Logan, I'll be an animal. I'm God's favorite, right? I'm an animal already. Imagine I was taking drugs on top. Jeez. I'd be an animal. So he's sitting there injecting himself to just get a little bit of muscle. But I never take anything. I've never taken anything, and I say that God is my witness. So I just train hard, and I only train for maybe 45 minutes to an hour each day, every single morning. It's one of the first things I do. I wake up and I train, and what's amazing is I never feel like doing it. Bro. I never want to do it. I wake up and I have work to do. My phone's going off. I got a busy day. I have to do stuff. I'm in a big mansion. There's a Lambo outside. Yeah. There's a nice pool. There's 3 chicks in bikinis chilling. Yeah. They're like, hey, breakfast is ready. And I'm like, nope. I'm going to train. And I don't want to, but I still do it because that's the part of being a man. It's doing what you don't want to do.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So I want to ask you now, give me a few stories. I love your stories. Craziest story involving a girl, craziest fight story, craziest thing you ever saw, and the last one, if you can give me a crazy story which you've never mentioned before, ever.
All my stories are very long. That's the problem. They're all like they're all like 30 minutes
They're
long.
podcasts of their own.
They're podcasts on their own. What was the first one?
The first one was craziest story involving a girl.
I've told this story before, I think somewhere. You have to find it. It was when I first went to Romania. I was in a town called Constanta, and there was a girl there who I met who was truly beautiful. She was Ukrainian, and to tell the story properly is so long. It takes half an hour to get the context.
Should we skip that one then?
No, it takes half an hour to get the context. But basically, it's the story of how me and her were talking, and she was trying to get information out of me, and I was paranoid and didn't want to give her too much information, but she liked me, and I styled it off, and I worked out that she was working for the club, and she was getting everyone to spend a whole bunch of money all the time. And I'm the only guy who didn't spend money on her, and we ended up having a summer of love. But it's an interesting story when it's told properly and in its entirety.
Yeah, because it's weird. It's
a strange one, yeah. And I'll tell you what we should do. I'll tell the overview of all the 5 stories, and then we'll, in the comments, to people who want to hear which story they want to hear the most, I'll do a nice 45-minute explanation of the story in depth. So the craziest story involving a girl was her, but she was a very interesting case because it showed the power of female manipulation. In fact, I've changed my mind. I'm going to tell the story. So I'm in Constanta, Romania, right? I'm in Romania. I was there, this is maybe 8 or 9 years ago. At the time, there weren't so many foreigners who went there. I was in a club, and there was an absolutely beautiful girl, and I went over to her and said, hello, it's nice to meet you. You're absolutely gorgeous. And start talking to her back and forth. I said, can I buy you a drink? And she said, yes, I'd like this bottle of champagne. And at the time, I didn't have the kind of money I had now. So I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to buy you a bottle of champagne. I don't normally drink champagne. I bought this.
I like beer.
I didn't say beer, but I styled it off. I said, so you can't really say that, right? So you have to be smooth about it. I was like, champagne. We should enjoy a bottle of champagne together one day, but I'm about to leave. I just wanted to come say hello. So we'll do it sometime in the future. You have to be smooth about these things. James Bond, right? Because I didn't want to buy a $1,500 bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
So I styled it off, got her number, left. We're texting back and forth. She seemed like a really nice girl. Absolutely and utterly beautiful. My standards are ridiculously high because I'm not a peasant like everybody else. I'm only associating with women.
I heard only blondes.
I can have anything I want, and I kind of like when they all match. So I live with very, very high standards. So she was truly beautiful. The next day I met her, we had lunch, and again, she tried to kind of hint at this drink, and again, I styled it off. That night I saw her on another man's table, and they were buying all this champagne, and I was kind of a little bit annoyed because I thought I bagged like a really beautiful girl, and she's now on this table, and she's all this champagne's coming. So whatever, it is what it is. I left it. I still text her a little bit back and forth, and it became this running joke. She was like, "Why won't you buy me a single bottle of champagne? You're a man. Why won't you buy me a single bottle of champagne?" And she was also she was quite inquisitive. She was like, "So what's your job? What are you doing here?" She was trying to ask me lots of questions, and I wouldn't answer any of them. I'd always style it off with a clever answer.
Yeah.
Like, what's your job? It's like, "Oh, I'm a priest," or blah blah blah. So yeah, we ended up becoming really good friends throughout the summer, and eventually she came open to the fact that she's there specifically to make men spend money, and she had a script, and she said, "You're the only," when she drunk a little bit of champagne that night, to be fair, she was a little bit drunk. She said, "You're the only man I've ever met who didn't," yeah, "You're the only man I've ever met who didn't follow my script, Andrew." I said, "What's the script?" And she showed me it was Facebook at the time. She showed me in her Facebook inbox. The man would get her number. They'd meet the next day. Then after about 2 or 3 dates, she'd say, "I can't fall in love with somebody who lives far away. Last time, I've only been with one man in my whole life. Last time I was with a man like this, my heart was broken." And she'd copy and paste this long message. The guy would start begging for her back. She would wait about a day and a half and then hit him back and go, "Okay, I'll come meet you, but I don't want to come on my own because I'm falling in love with you. I want to bring some..."